we haven't really talked about Cup of Nations. So let's start with that one. This is really, really exciting, not just because of the teams that are involved, but this is a special time for this particular tournament because it's like the return of this
Yeah.
round robin tournament. It's been absent for about 4 years now. The very first one took place in 2019, right? Hosted by Australia. That's already a big thing right there. They are the co-host of the upcoming 2023 World Cup. But the pandemic kind of really threw a wrench in a lot of things, and we did not see the Cup of Nations for quite some time. So while it started off as this very cool thing, cool idea, we saw Australia, New Zealand, I believe Argentina was involved at the time in the first one.
Mhm.
Now we've got this second iteration of it. Finally, 4 years later, Australia, still the hosts, but they are going to welcome Jamaica, Spain, and Czech Republic to this tournament.
Yeah. I'm really excited about this. And I think that honestly, from my readings and kind of what I figured out, that this tournament, a main big reason that it's coming back is because Australia and New Zealand is hosting the World Cup. So this is an opportunity. I mean, the last opportunity really for Australia to compete at home before the World Cup. But this is a really cool tournament. I'm really glad it's back. Australia is the reigning champions right now at this point. But this year and in this iteration of the tournament, there is Australia, Jamaica, Spain, and Czech Republic are all in this tournament. So top teams, right? You look at a team like Jamaica going back to the World Cup, like pretty jazzed about that and joining this tournament. When you look at Jamaica, 44th FIFA ranking, they finished third, right, in the CONCACAF W Championship that happened last summer, and they got wins over Haiti and Mexico in their group stage. They're on their way right now. Most recently, I believe Jamaica split games with Paraguay at the end of 2022. They won one and they lost one. So now for Jamaica, what an opportunity for them to travel to Australia and to compete in this tournament ahead of the World Cup. Like that is a huge leg up for these types of nations. I mean, we talked about it. The United States just did it in January during that window because they really wanted to replicate what it was going to be like traveling in New Zealand between different stadiums, finishing a match, getting showered up in the locker room, and then jumping right back on the plane. And now Czech Republic, Spain, and Jamaica all get to experience that in this Cup of Nations. So in looking at these different nations, I gave you a little tidbit on Jamaica with Czech Republic. They're 28th ranking in the FIFA rankings right now. Remember, Czech Republic was in the She Believes Cup last year
Mhm.
and drew with the United States 0-0. They also tied 0-0 England at the end of last year, but this is a team that's not in the World Cup. They finished third in their group in qualifications. They didn't make it. So Czech Republic is not going to the World Cup, but they're a really, really top quality team. And sometimes it just comes down to the federations and the other competitions in those federations, right? Because Czech Republic is a really strong team. So I'm glad they're in this tournament and I'm glad they can compete. And I think going up against a team like Spain, number 7th in the FIFA World Rankings, they're headed into their third World Cup. They just crushed their qualifications. Spain did. I mean, this is a team that has been through a lot of adversity, right? Remember the Euros last year, Alexia Putellas getting injured. They then get out in the quarterfinals of the Euros, but at the end of 2022, they left a sour taste in a lot of different nations, United States being one of them, Argentina, Japan. Those were the final 3 games for this Spanish side at the end of 2022. And now they go into this tournament against a team like Australia, right? Czech Republic, Jamaica. I'm jazzed about this one. I really, really am. I mean, we just talked about the other day, Bunny Shaw and what that Jamaican International is doing in the Women's Super League. She's leading the Golden Boot race at this point. Like, and now the international window is here. I'm really jazzed about this. I'm excited to see the competition. I'm excited to watch Jamaica. I am. I've got to be honest. CONCACAF fam here. I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see them.
No, I'm with you. I know that was something that we wanted to keep an eye on during this particular
Mhm.
window. Like how are some of the CONCACAF participating nations going to fare during this time, right? So we know that for She Believes Cup, We're gonna get a close up on United States women's national team, obviously Canadians women's national team, but in this Cup of Nations, we've got Jamaica to sort of keep an eye on. And I guess like when we're hearing you sort of talk about all four of the teams a little bit who are participating in this one, Australia as host, right? This is maybe unlike some other competitions that are going to be taking place during this
Mhm.
window. For Australia, they get, yes, both the opportunity to go up against other World Cup qualified talent, but they also get a go round as hosts in this one as well. So they're getting ready to host the World Cup, and now they are hosting this Cup of Nations. They also get a little bit of experience in this window doing that as well. So when we're looking at these four teams in front of us, when we're even looking at things like numbers, right? When it even though
Mhm.
Australia is the host, we've got Spain that are ranked a little bit higher than them in the overall rankings. Is there any team that you're looking at amongst these four that are gonna walk away or go into this tournament as sort of clear favorites? Who do you have maybe like walking away with the cup in the Cup of Nations?
Although it is Australia home field advantage and they've got that on their sides, Spain, it has to be
Yeah,
Spain in this one. Even despite maybe some of the injuries to some star players on their roster at this point, Spain is the clear favorite in my opinion. And I think when you look at kind of how the tournament is laid out, um, it starts right on the opening day, but I believe it's Thursday is the same as every other tournament that we're going to talk about in this FIFA International Window. It's Spain against Jamaica and then Australia against Czech Republic. So Spain and Jamaica, like I'm really excited for that game, but I just think that Spain's going to come out and kind of dominate a little bit against Jamaica, who they play first, then they play Australia, and then they play Czech Republic. Yeah, Spain hands down is my favorite. What about you when you look at these sides? Do you have a favorite? Who do you think is going to give that
yeah.
favorite some trouble? What are you expecting?
I don't know if I have a favorite, in this one, but I'm in agreement with you in that Spain is likely going to be the team to come into this tournament and give all the other teams some problems. And some like real fits, like yes, Australia is gonna have a lot of things behind them, whether it's just the lay of the stadiums and comforts of home and training and no travel in the sense of they are the ones that have to leave their host country. They have all the like those things that I guess could be considered
The fans?
advantages, so I do see Spain kind of maybe coming out on top in this one, but I don't know if it'll be a cakewalk for them because
Mhm.
of the type of tournament it is, these round robin tournaments. It's all about the points in the end. So it could come down to those two teams, in terms of who's gonna, take the title home with them. But I just because I think that those are maybe the kind of two standout teams doesn't mean I'm like any less, excited to take a look at what uh Jamaica does in this tournament or what the Czech Republic does in this tournament. I love that you brought up, Czech Republic is a really tough team essentially to play
Mhm.
against. They could really clog up some of the field and make things really really frustrating for the opposition. So it almost makes me excited for that Czech Republic Spain kind of
Yeah,
matchup because Spain is a team that we all know likes to
completely.
build through possession and sort of win through possession. And what does that look like when you are facing up against a team that is inviting that? Do you want to keep the ball? Great, we're gonna let you keep it, but you can't. We're gonna make it hard for you to kind of get past it. So there's some interesting matchups here, but I'm with you in that I think that Spain are the favorites, but I think that Australia might make things interesting down the line.
Yeah,
We've got
I
this
agree. I
one.
think the Czech Republic Spain match is going to be very, very interesting because,
Yeah,
like, they always throw up stats on the screen too. Like the possession stat in that game is going to be crazy. So heavily favored for Spain. The last match day, February 22nd on Wednesday. That'll be the Spain Czech Republic game that we'll see then.
yeah, like if it comes down to points, I'm just kind of
Mhm.
like, like what's gonna happen here on this final day?
I
And
know.
that I think that's again another keynote. There's a dates in that one. This tournament taking place from kicking off on the 16th through to the 22nd, because that's really the familiar. timeline for a lot of these round robin style competitions. There's a lot of them kicking off on either the 15th or the 16th and running through the 21st and the 22nd.